All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading into our third and last match for Group A of the Russian StarLeague. It's going to be between FXOLoWeLy and Evil Geniuses in Control. We're going to be playing on Accolon Flats. It's going to be the map that the last match ended on. Interestingly enough, this has actually happened two games in a row. But here we go. We're going to have Spawning in the bottom right position. He just lost 0-3 to MMA, but that's nothing to cry over. MMA, very strong player. For Team Evil Geniuses, he is in control. And spawning in the top left position as our yellow Zerg. He actually had a 2-0 lead against MMA earlier, but he was not able to maintain that and ended up falling 2-3 to MMA. He is from FXO Europe. He is LoWeLy. Now, there's the GSL and Kespa versions. I believe one of them. The GSL version has a supply depot here to help with walling off for Forge Fast Expand, which it looks like InControl wants to do. So this should be relatively easy to do. In the games of Protoss that I've played on this map, it's not impossible. It's a really big ramp to wall, of course, which gives a couple of aggression options for Zerg. We're actually going to have a 12 pool coming in here from LoWeLy, so his goal is going to be to just get a couple Zerglings, and you get 4 or 5 Zerglings into the Protoss player's base behind that wall, and you can do a lot of damage when it's just probes versus Zerglings. So I don't think it's a bad decision for LoWeLy based on the map. This ramp is so wide that for InControl to block it all off is going to be very difficult. There's no way InControl can get a Nexus up before he has a full wall now. So he's definitely going to delay that expansion a lot. And LoWeLy can just make about 4-6 Zerglings and then just expand behind it. He has a lot of options available to him. InControl is, of course, going to throw it on this Forge. I think if he gets the Nexus afterwards, he could be vulnerable to Zergling pressure, but we're going to have to see. We actually have a gas being taken by LoWeLy. Possibly going to go for fast speed. InControl sees this. He did spot the pool timing, so I guess 12 pool. Maybe he thinks InControl is going to go for a possible cannon rush in his natural expansion. He is going to make 4 Zerglings, though, so I'm curious if he's going to send them straight to the natural or to InControl's base. But the photon cannon is on the way. No gateway just yet, so he wants to have that cannon as early as he can. I think he might actually he might be able to stop Zerglings from getting into his base. They're chasing after the probe, so LoWeLy, I guess his pool timing was a little bit more defensive than anything else. InControl, kind of one of those players that definitely not afraid to bust out cannons against a Zerg that's playing greedily. He opened with the Forge. The gateway is on the way now. He will have to block this off. Possibly with another structure to stop these Zerglings from getting through, but it looks like LoWeLy doesn't want to chance it with the cannon, and the cannon actually will block the Zerglings from getting into the main, so we'd have to do a full run around to actually get there. But we have Zergling speed on the way. We have a couple more Zerglings being made. InControl has a probe headed over to the left side. LoWeLy is going to miss that. It looks like InControl might be preparing to cannon rush a third base, but he doesn't realize that there's actually a Baneling nest on the way for LoWeLy. He's going to go for a 2-base Baneling bust. As he said, it's so hard to get a big full wall on this map that breaking down one segment of it can allow you to get into lots. The Overlord spots this, is okay, I see everything that you have. InControl, to deal with this, he's going to need another cannon. He's definitely going to need to try to block off the weak point as well, which is, of course, the pylon. Unlike a lot of maps where you typically end up having 2 pylons sometimes as part of your wall, there's only one. So there's only really one weak point in InControl's wall for this the Baneling bust to do damage, and now that nest is going to complete, we're going to have to see what he does. InControl's been going for a very standard follow-up, possibly going to head into Stargate, a very, very popular transition from Forge Fast Expand, but this Zealot actually spots it. InControl knows what's up. He's immediately going to reinforce this wall with an additional gateway. Absolutely fantastic decision. He's going to need one more gateway, though, to make sure that these Banelings won't be able to bust through. There it goes down. The Banelings are headed up. There's only one photon cannon, but these Zerglings are going to try to break in through here. The Banelings all detonate. He does break the wall open just barely, and it looks like the probes are in immediate threat. He has a sentry. He uses his only force field, though. He's going to immediately Chrono Boost out another one. A Baneling is on the way, but this is looking this is a very, very high octane there's so much that could go wrong here for IGiNControl. He needs to play these cards very carefully. He has the cannon. There's only one Baneling in his main. He's blocked the third base from being taken by LoWly. LoWly is continuing to just produce Zerglings, so IGiNControl is going to be in a good position if he can survive this without taking too much more damage. He's double chronoing out sentries now. You're going to use that range. Of course, the Banelings do a lot of damage to the sentries. He doesn't want to get hit by that Baneling. The Zergling's trying to run into the main. Baneling detonates, doesn't kill the sentries. Only one Zergling remains, so a really nice hold by IGiNControl. If you look at the workers killed tab, LoWly's killed about 4 probes, but if we look at the workers tab, they're a little bit even. LoWly's going to move back into drone production, but it's 2 base Protoss versus 2 base Zerg, and for what IGiNControl lost, he had to put a lot of his money, a lot of his gas into sentries, so he's not going to be able to get a robotics facility up. He's not going to be able to get a Stargate up anytime immediately soon, but he didn't die to the attack, which is the most important thing. It's a very, very strong push made by LoWly. I was actually surprised how well IGiNControl, that could go wrong in so many ways so quickly. When you have that many speedlings in your base, especially in LoWly trying to focus down the Nexus, and maybe it wasn't the best decision. The first force field out of IGiNControl was actually a bit of a whiff, so got a bit lucky, to be honest. But double gas being taken, this did delay IGiNControl's build by quite a bit. There are 3 spine crawlers going down for LoWly. He's getting a lair. He's taken all of his gas, and this is beginning to look a little bit like Mutalisk play. You want to get a lot of spines to defend yourself against counter any kind of aggression from the Protoss player. And you want to have your evolution chambers, of course, not even just wall, but you can get upgrades for Zerglings behind this. The double evolution chamber is the reason I think this might not be Mutalisks. We've seen LoWly against MMA really favor Infestor styles, but 2 base with all this gas, I'm a little curious what he wants to do. He hasn't decided on a tech building just yet, but IGiNControl has decided on the robotics facility. Very safe, normal choice. Nothing out of the ordinary here, and I don't disagree with the decision to go Robo. He took some damage early on. It's possible that there could be coming up more aggression from Roaches, other units, so going for the Immortal instead of the Phoenix is going to be a little bit more defensive. He's going to get that Observer to scout, and we have an Infestation Pit for LoWly. It's going to be a 2-base Infestor style play out of our Zerg player, and this seems a little weird to me simply because I rarely see this coming out of Korean players. LoWly really just has been favoring in all of his matches today, almost every single game, really heavily favoring the Infestation Pit. Only one game did he get a Spire for Mutalisks, and that was MMA against MMA on the Neo Planet S. And that didn't even pan out terribly well for him, so we're going to have to see what happens as Observer crossing the center of the field. Hallucination, I like this decision. There's a lot of sentry energy. He can scout with a Phoenix if the Observer gets picked off. He's going to see LoWly go to take this third base. It's actually a bit isolated. He could possibly try to put on some pressure with a probe, sending Zealots to clear out the towers. I like this decision as well from IGiNControl. Moving into that Twilight Council now, he has the +1 attack. He's getting the +1 armor, so he's going to be able to follow this up, possibly with a second Forge. Pretty solid macro coming out from IGiNControl. He's doing what he needs to do. He's following a proper checklist for PvZ, getting the robotics bay out now. And honestly, I have to say, you know, like I said, a lot of Protoss players are going for Stargate lately, especially in the Korean scene. But against Ling Infestor, Colossus is the best you can go for. You get 2-3 Colossus. I mean, once you're 3 Colossus, it's like what you have Zerglings. It pretty much becomes a Protoss versus Infestor. You know, Ling Infestor Zerglings just die so quickly to Colossi. LoWly's going to scout for a possible third base in the upper position. Not going to see anything. IGiNControl taking the much safer base, I believe. Getting a pylon here should be able to wall this off, actually. But it looks like LoWly wants to do a little bit of counter pressure. There's actually no Zealot in position at the natural wall for IGiNControl, so these Zerglings could run in. IGiNControl's going to see that with the Observer. He's going to warp in Zealots just in time. LoWly will not be able to run in and steal any kisses there, but we have Ventral Sacks almost complete for LoWly, so he wants to go for some drop aggression, and I like this decision. I think it's always good to do this against Protoss. Protoss forces are best when they're all together, not spread out, and when you really abuse the immobility of some of these units, you can get a lot of damage done. We have Overlord Speed now starting, 2-2 for the Zerglings, so we're not going to see any Roach play. Like I said, it's going to be pure Ling Infestor. We might even see Bro Fester hit squad. We can get some Infestors in an Overlord, try to do some damage with those. I actually wonder how many Infestors he has. He has 5 Infestors, so a pretty solid count for dealing with any kind of aggression. You could catch a Warp Prism with them. You could catch Zealot Run By with them. and Lowly's bases are all very close together, so he's not terribly worried about the immobility of the infestors. He's just going to get his hive and start a spire and just go for that tier 3 tech, which I don't think is a bad decision at all. EGiNcontrol, in the meantime, is going to get a Templar Archives. We have some Zerglings going over to the right side. EGiNcontrol still hasn't taken it yet, though. Lowly knows there's nothing there. 2-2 is on the way for EGiNcontrol. He's barely behind Lowly's upgrades, so he's looking pretty strong right now, I have to say. He's getting his Colossus out, and this is all he really needs against the army composition. If he just pushes, I think if EGiNcontrol just pushes with 2 or 3 Colossi, Lowly won't really have an answer for it. He only has Zerglings. He's going to have, what, 2-2 maybe, but here we have an Overlord drop being prepared to go into the natural expansion of EGiNcontrol. He does have available warp-ins, I believe. Actually, just did a full warp-in, so he's not actually going to be able to bring anything in to deal with this. Some of the cooldowns are setting now, but this Zergling drop could do a little bit of damage, but the Colossi are actually positioned in between the bases, so he's going to be able to run over and take care of this relatively easily. It could be a possible multi-prong aggression. And here we have actually Banelings loaded up into these Overlords. Lowly is going to try to go for the Baneling drops with the Infestor-Ling composition, and this can do a lot of damage because of the splash, of course, being dropped on top of these Protoss units. But now EGiNcontrol's moving out, and Lowly's going to move in with the drops. He has 1 Q to go into the main mineral line, and he has 1 Q to go into the natural expansion. EGiNcontrol has a cannon at the main, but here comes his push heading towards the third base. The Overlords are there with their Banelings. EGiNcontrol should respond to this. Those sentries will all die pretty much instantly. The fungal goes down. The Banelings are going to move in from the Overlords. All of the sentries die. A lot of damage on the Colossus. There's nothing here to tank for the Colossi, and these Zerglings might actually be able to kill them. He's going to drop more Banelings. The Colossus goes down. Oh my goodness, the engagement goes absolutely the worst possible way it could have gone for EGiNcontrol. The Zerglings hit the natural. He's killed about 13 probes so far, so he's actually continuing to kill probes. He killed the cannon in the main, and EGiNcontrol looking from a really nice position to taking so much damage from the harass, from the counterattack, and from that engagement. Had his army split not at all and lost all of his Colossi. He has Archons now, but here we have a big drop coming in over these Archons. He's not going to be able to get any positioning advantages. The Lurglings have a full surround. It looks like EGiNcontrol's third is going to be overrun, and I think this might be enough for Lowly to break through and take this game. EGiNcontrol going to warp in some Zealots, but the upgrades are even. We have 3-3 on the way for Lowly, and this is just getting more and more grim for EGiNcontrol. The 4th base is completed for Lowly. He has the Greater Spire. Now he's getting Corruptors out. And this is a really bad position. He has barely any probes in his main. He's running out of minerals there as well. And the 3rd base is also going to run... it's got a little bit of life left in it, but it's not fully saturated. We have a bunch of Zerglings, though, headed over. And it looks like Lowly might just try to do... a last push to try to kill EGiNcontrol. EGiNcontrol has his 3-3 going, but here we have the Broodlords on the way. There's no blink. EGiNcontrol's going to move out on the field. This might be his only chance to catch this, but I'm not sure he actually has enough to deal with the Zerglings, and the Broodlords are going to finish soon, but there are so many Zerglings here. EGiNcontrol's force is caught. I think he's going to lose everything here, and this might be it from our hero from Evil Geniuses. Corruption going down on the Stalkers to add in a little bit more DPS, and these Broodlords have completed. EGiNcontrol kind of realizing that this game is possibly running a little bit out of hand. 50 Zerglings on the way, 3-3, a little bit of half-past, halfway done, and we have 4 more Broodlords. This game, it's becoming a time bomb. EGiNcontrol, he really needs a miracle to pull this off. There's so many Zerglings, so he's going to get a full surround on these Zealots. Going to try to catch the Stalkers. They don't have Blink. He can't escape. He can only try to run away from the Broodlords, and as being forced in towards his natural, more Stalkers being warped in. He has 2-2, 3-3 almost done, but now he's being forced to fight. He actually walled off his natural completely. The Stalkers can't run away. The Broodlords are in position. He only has 3 of them up here. The Stalkers are going to try to focus one down, and there's the GG. Game number 1 will go to FXOLoWeLy. A solid effort by EGiNcontrol, but man, you know, I feel like he focused a lot on that engagement, but it didn't, you know, the fungal growth caught him. The engagement didn't go well, so he lost his whole army. And then after that, the harass just did so much damage because EGiNcontrol was focused on the engagement. And that's going to put Lowly up 1 game now. Keep in mind this is a best of 5, so we have a couple more games left. EGiNcontrol's map pick now, and we're going to run to a very quick break, And on the other side, I'll let you know as soon as we get back into this next game.